So now with our walk cycle complete, we have a base animation that we can start to add layers to. We can start to add secondary motion to something that's already established. And the way we do that is through animation layers. So over here, underneath your channel box should appear your layer editor. And if it's not there, you can find it up here in your general editors. When you pull up your layer editor, it shows you two tabs. You have a display layer and an animation layer. The display layer is used to hide and show things, usually very beneficial in modeling, even rigging, and also in animation. But we use the animation layers to place specific animations into. Essentially, we need to apply the controllers that we want to work with into its own respective layer. And then we can assign specific animations to specific layers. It's a very powerful tool for doing more complex work, as well as controlling how much we want to see of a particular animation. So the first thing I'll do, create a new layer by just simply pushing the plus layer over here. And you can see in the dialog box there's a base animation, and that is the animation that we've already been working with. So if I select my curves, you can see down here in the graph editor all the various curves that I've already keyed in that layer. And it's also marked by this green dot here. This is the active layer I'm working with that contains those controllers. So I want to lock that to begin working on my new animation layer. That means when I lock it, all of this is hidden. I can still select my controllers, but I can't do anything down here. It's locked. So the next step in our exercise will be to apply specific controllers to specific animation layers. For example, if I want to bend the head, I'm going to select both the head and the neck because I may want to work with both, because this is going to be about the head turn. I will just select those controllers, make sure I'm on the correct animation layer, and then I'm going to add the selected objects. Now, when I do anything in Maya, I want to be sure I'm naming anything new, because you can easily get lost and you can forget where things are, but if you name it, you always have a reference, and that name will appear across Maya so you know what you're working with. So I'm just going to call this, okay, head turn layer. You can name it however it works for you. There's no real rules. This is arbitrary. And now I have over here my animation layers appearing inside my graph editor. Okay. So now it works the same way that your previous animation has worked, but it's now in a new layer. It's just animating on top of your base animation. And you can tell that that same controller exists inside both of these layers because there's a dot beside both of them. However, I'm inside this layer right now because of the green dot. So if I push S, I'm going to go down, let him walk a little bit, and then I'm going to set my first keyframe. I've got auto key turned on here. That's your choice now that you know what it is. And now I can start to animate just this head turn inside that layer based on these two controls. I've just set a key for both of them so I can start to work with my animation layer. Okay. Now, with auto key, I don't have to do anything but move it. But if I don't want to move the top of his head here, I need to be sure I key it, because I want to use that position. I like that position because I'm going to do something a little further down. I'm going to animate the neck and the head this time. Okay. So now with auto key turned on, I didn't even need to key it, and I have this complete head turn with the neck and the head. Now, in this assignment, what I'm going to be doing a lot is rotating my views and seeing how things look. In fact, I don't even need a second window. I just need one right now, so I can get a really good look from all kinds of angles what's happening. Okay, so that's the basics of working with animation layers. Now, there's more to it. I showed in class how you can zero out your keys. You don't need to worry about that in this exercise, but if you did, basically what it would do is it would start, if I zeroed it out, it would start a kind of a blend between this layer and that one. I would suggest learning it on the side, learning it as an extra exercise for your own independent study. But another thing that you may find useful is using the weights. So Maya has this percentage weight down here, and I can set that, and it's blending between the two layers, kind of like opacity in Photoshop, except there's no onion skin to it. It's just blending the weight of the keys. So here I have a very powerful technique to control the extremities of my animation. This is very useful when you're working and you don't know yet what the client or even yourself might want. So you might push it to the extreme and then set the weight to where you think it might be, but have some possibilities for it to go further. You can always change that in your keyframes. You can always go down here and make it extreme, but here you have an added benefit of very quickly being able to make those changes on the fly so you can see if something works or not. You can also key that. You can key the weight and change those weights based on a decision that you make inside your story. This is up to you if you use it, how you use it, but it's available to you. Now, we have our first use of animation layers set. We need to, if we want to do something else, well, we can decide, do we want to put the next animation inside that layer, or do we want to add a new layer for it? This is up to you. I would recommend not overusing your animation layers. Be efficient with it. But you may find that you need a lot of animation layers. This is all up to you. You can always merge. Your layers. Be aware that if you merge your layers, this is familiar if you use Photoshop, that if you merge your layers, it could take a long time because the software needs to process all those keyframes as it's merging them. So if you have slow memory or if you have a slow machine, or you don't have a lot of time and you have a huge amount of animation over here, just be aware that it's going to take some time to process it. So if I want to add more turns to the body, I have a couple of choices here. I can put that controller into a new layer, or I can adjust this layer to be just my body turns. You may want to use more layers, or you may want to consolidate your layers. I'm just simply choosing to consolidate mine to show you how you can do it. All right, so now all I need to do is make sure that layer is selected, it's unlocked, and then I add selected objects. So now it's inside that same layer, right? But you have to remember it's also carrying the same weight. So whatever I do to the weight there, it's going to be the same across both controllers, or all controllers. See? So that's something you need to consider as well. In this exercise, do things very simple and methodic so that you don't back yourself into a corner and then get confused and frustrated trying to figure out how to back yourself back out. You can do things just very simply, just exploring how the layers work. Need to put these in a layer first. Add a layer. Clavicle weight. For example, making sure that's locked. Add selected objects. Now I have a bend. I'm going to rename it R for right, so I don't get lost in which clavicle that is for. Those layers will appear down here once you've selected the curves that belong there. Just selecting that layer, it's not going to show up down there. Okay, it's up here. This is what you need to look for. If you have all your layers, if you have all your controllers in the base animation layer, you can see those here, and then you can sort of work backwards a bit for the layers that you need to see. Right? It's very elegant design, very simple to understand. Just take your time with it.